It's time once again for Kansas City Royals baseball from the Royal Sports Television Network. Rookie Alex Gordon had 3 hits last night as the Royals captured Game 1 of their Interleague Series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome into Kauffman Stadium, the middle game of 3-game set. Coming up next. Nice to have you on Royals Hall of Fame pitcher Paul Spudorf. I'm Bob Davis. Nice win with the Royals last night. They jumped out to an early lead in both pitcher performance.
Everything looked pretty easy last night when you get those runs early and you got your guy out there throwing strikes, attacking a ball club that had been struggling recently. Things fell into place last night for the Royals. But you look at Tampa.
But third win.
Cardinals had a couple hits in each of the first 2 innings here last night against Brian Bannister before he knuckled down, pitched better into the middle innings, and they got 2 hits in each of the first 2 innings here tonight against Odalis Perez.
Now the number 9 hitter comes up. That's another switch hitter, Aaron Miles. Miles will be the second baseman tonight for the Cards. Former Colorado Rocky. Came into the game late last night. Took over at shortstop. He's at second tonight.
Cardinals gave up a pretty good relief pitcher for this guy. Ray King, a late inning reliever, veteran guy. Went to Colorado. They needed pitching.
Fly ball to Tian out right field. And tagging and scoring is Spezio. It's 2-0 St. Louis. RBI, the 11th of the year for Aaron Miles. The Cardinals have scored in each of the first 2 innings. 2 runs on 4 hits now for the Redbirds. Top of the order swings around. David Eckstein, who opened the game with a double to left field, will be the batter. He hit a long way out there. Dallas missed inside. Royals in their half of the first got a 2-out walk, but no hits. They trail now by a pair.
David Eckstein very active as he gets into his set stance right there. Now most hitters very still, very relaxed. There's very little movement in their setup. He's constant motion.
That is lifted down the left field line. Well, foul and out of play. Two and one now to David Eckstein. The former was with the Cardinals, went to the Angels, now back. He and Kennedy have kind of followed somewhat similar paths. Eckstein, MVP of the World Series. Well, what a postseason he had. And that'll be out of play. 2-2 now.
What an offseason he had. He was a busy guy. He had an appearance on the Tonight Show. He's published a children's book. He also appeared in a pay-per-view wrestling contest. He was the ring announcer. He was not a participant.
Miles, pretty good base runner at first. He's not going, and the ball's a base hit through the hole on the left side. And the Cardinals finding some holes here with these base hits. 3 hits in the inning, and the inning continues now. First and second with 2 gone.
Offensively, the best thing the Cardinals do is put the ball in play. They're right in the middle of the National League as far as their team batting average, but they have not displayed a whole lot of power so far this year. They're 12th out of 16 teams in home run. They're 16th out of 16 teams in doubles hit. But they are a pretty good contact hitting team. Do put it in play. Get their share of base hits. They've got 5 in the game here tonight.
So first and second, Miles at second, Eckstein at first. And here is So Taguchi, who laid down a sacrifice bunt in the first inning. He's a key guy. They'd like for him to get on and give Pujols a chance to give him a huge inning. And Pujols is on deck. You got to throw strikes to this guy and get him.
Taguchi had a game-winning hit last week against the Cincinnati Reds. Came in the 9th inning. So he's a clutch hitter on that just completed homestand for the Redbirds.
1-1.
In fact, Taguchi had game-winning hits back-to-back nights. That last homestand for St. Louis. He's back in the lineup tonight and hitting up near the top of the order.
Playing center field for Edmonds tonight. 2 balls, 1 strike. Odalis Perez needs to get this batter here. Close out the inning and let Pujols lead off the third. 34 pitches for Odalis as McClure, the pitching coach, watches his left-handed starter. Boy, oh boy. Now this is really a crucial pitch.
Odalis has struggled his last 3 times out, Bob. He's pitched a total of 16 innings, so about 5 1/3 innings on average per time out. He's also given up 13 earned runs. That works out to a 7.31 earned run average.
Well, that's certainly not by the book to walk this guy to bring Pujols up there with the bases loaded.
This is a possible game-changing situation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you want to work around Pujols whenever you can. You'd like to have him lead off innings. He's already driven in a run tonight, and now you have to deal with him. He's been lethal against Perez in his career. And now the Cardinals, who already lead 2-0, have a chance for something mammoth here in the second. There are the base runners with Bennett, Eckstein, and Taguchi, 3rd to 1st. And first strike.
Was it Bobby Bonds or Barry Bonds got walked with the bases loaded a year or so ago, forcing in a run so you didn't have to face him? Well, the kind of numbers Pujols was put up against Odalis Perez, it would at least force you to at least consider that option.
Strike 1 to Albert. Yep, he delivers. 1 run is in. Here comes the other man, Eckstein. He'll score. And now Pujols goes to second. Pujols has driven in 3, and you just absolutely cannot set up that situation. Walking Taguchi in front of him. And the Cardinals now lead 4-0. McClure's going to go to the mound.
Odalis Perez likes to go to the 4-seam fastball. That's his #1 pitch at the stage of his career, where maybe the sinking fastball could be a more important offering for him. Get it down in the strike zone, get some sinking action, maybe get some more ground balls, but went with the 4-seamer, and Pujols slammed it into left field, the solid base hit. Gathride's throw coming back into the plate kind of airmails it, overthrows his cutoff man right here, and then allows another base runner to move into third base. Good read by Taguchi, the runner on second. Gathride needs to keep that throw down a little bit lower to at least freeze the base runners.
And he's charged with an error, allowing Pujols to go to second. Now the Cardinals have 2 more men in scoring position. And Encarnacion, who fly deep to left his first time up, will be the batter.
The Royals sent 8 men to the plate last night in the second inning, scored a couple runs. Encarnacion, the 8th man to come to the plate for the Redbirds here in the second inning tonight.
And a first pitch strike. Four hits in the inning, but the walk to So Taguchi as big as any of those hits. That loaded the bases and got Pujols up there. Encarnacion, pretty good rip, but he's down 0-2.
Cardinal hitters are acting like they're getting a great look at Odalis Perez here tonight. Everybody getting good swings.
Both these teams 13 and 18 on the road. No balls, 2 strikes to Juan Encarnacion. Just got a little piece of it. When he was a young player, he came up with the Detroit Ball Club. Then he went over to the National League, the Reds and the Marlins and the Dodgers. Back to the Marlins before the Cardinals got him last year.
Right now hitting about what he did last season. Last season he finished with that 278 average. Approaching 270 right now.
In the dirt, ball 1. 42 pitches here for Perez. Royals last night grabbed a lead with a 5-run first inning. Never trailed. In fact, Cardinals didn't score until the 9th. Royals won 8-1. That's a little flare. That's a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Pujols. He will score. How big was the throwing error? And Pujols to second. It is 6-0. And Dallas Perez really struggling here in the 2nd inning. The walk to Taguchi. Then he gets ahead in the count. But these batters, as you say, getting good looks and good swings. And Encarnacion now with a 13-game hitting streak.
Got 2 outs in the inning. Then the next 4 consecutive hitters reach against Perez on 3 base hits and a walk. The last couple of hitters each get 2 RBIs. Tien trying to set up so he can make a strong, accurate throw to the plate and maybe try to get Pujols at home plate. But with 2 outs in the inning, Pujols going on contact. Scores easily.
6-0 St. Louis. They're still batting in the 2nd. Roland grounded out to Vermont to end the 1st inning. And he hits one to Pena, and the inning is over. But considerable damage done by St. Louis in the 2nd. They hang up a big 5 and they lead by 6. St. Louis with 5 in the 2nd. They lead 6-0 as we go around Major League Baseball. Brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Phillies beat the White Sox again. Aaron Rowan, a grand slam against his old ball club. The Jays over the Giants. Matt Stairs with a big ball game. In the 5th, the Nationals lead the Baltimore Orioles. Rockies up at Boston. Fogg against Schilling. Brewers and Tigers are tied in their game, and the Marlins lead the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland 3-7 in their last 10. The Yankees up on the Diamondbacks. A-Rod has hit one out. And some of the other ball games that are still in progress. Well, let's see if the Royals can get on the board and start digging into this 6-run St. Louis lead. Ball 1 here to Gordon, leading off the 2nd inning. Royals are looking for their first hit. Alex Gordon, John Buck, Ryan Shealy coming up.
Bob, it's discouraging for a team to be down a half a dozen runs really before you even get warmed up in the ball game. But I think the Royals would focus on right now. Adam Wainwright has earned run average on the high side of 5. He's given up a lot of home runs so far this year, given up a lot of runs. Plus the innings are really piling up on him. This guy is a reliever all last season long. He had finished the year last year with the innings total of 75. And here in the next couple innings, he'll have 75 innings pitched already this season. We're about a third of the way through. So a former reliever now in the starting rotation. How will he react with the workload?
Alex hits one to center. Taguchi goes back, makes the catch on the warning track. Alex hit it a long way, but he's out. So one gone here in the 2nd inning. Cardinals series with the Royals concludes tomorrow night, 7:10 game time. Great seats still available. Visit Royals.com or stop by any Kansas City area Hy-Vee store or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. See you here tomorrow night. Wear blue. Gates open at 5:30. Gordon really hit that ball a long way, about 400 feet. But he is out number 1. St. Louis 6 runs on 7 hits and a Royal error also in the mix, and a huge walk to So Taguchi. And a bouncer to the shortstop, Eckstein. And he throws out John Buck. Well, Wainwright, although he has struggled at times this year, now in the enviable position of having a 6-run lead with which to work.
Yeah, that will put him in a comfort zone. He knows that a mistake or two is not going to beat him here tonight. Numbers against him really not pretty. Lefties are hitting .314. Righties hitting .320. Those want to get onto some of that.
Ryan Sheely will bat with 2 out, nobody on. Sheely was 0 for 1 with a walk last night after entering the ball game. Wainwright looking for a 1-2-3 inning. He got the first 2 men in the first, then gave up a walk before retiring Sweeney on a pop-up.
Wainwright, when we saw him last year, Bobby, is primarily fastball, curveball. Curveball was outstanding. He's throwing a lot of sliders here tonight, so he's changed his style a little bit from a year ago when he was a reliever to this year when he's in the starting rotation.
Sheely belts one to left center, but it's caught by Ludwig. Royals hit 2 balls right on the nose, but Cardinal outfielders making the catch. 2-0 St. Louis. Cardinal fans much happier tonight than at this stage last night when many of them were blue, but they're happy tonight. Well, technically we can do that again, but it's still 6-0. Let's take you down on the farm when we have a moment. Check some Royal farm hands and how they're doing, and some of the minor league all-star games are not too far ahead.
Well, they're getting into the middle portion of their seasons where they name their all-stars. Guys that have had the first half. Of course, a lot of those guys that would make all-star teams probably moving along to another level the second half of this season.
Spezio started the 6-run inning with a leadoff double, a grounder up the line at first base. Juan Perez nearing 50 pitches now, 48 so far.
Has not had an easy inning at this stage of the ball game. You'd really like to settle in and kind of cruise for a couple innings if you could, but the Cardinals in high gear right now.
And it is a 3-1 count here to this leadoff man. And here's number 50 right here. And he bounced it to Pena. And out at first is Spezio. Now we'll take you down on the farm, brought to you by Robert's Dairy, quality dairy products since 1906. List of names, some of the guys in the respective farm teams will be all-stars in those leagues. Hochaver, first-round pick of a year ago. Lubanski's a former first-round pick. Stadolka used to be a pitcher. Now he's a first baseman. Look at the group of guys from Class A Wilmington.
That Hardy is a left-handed pitcher, and understand he's quite a character. Throws a, what do they call it, an invisiball?
The invisiball. Yeah. He's already won 7 games. There's a high throw, but pulled down by the 6'5" Ryan Sheely. Ludwig is out.
The invisiball.
You like the concept, don't you? He's not a real hard thrower.
I saw him in spring training. Not a very big guy, but really got a good idea how to pitch.
I saw him pitch in a rookie league game last year. He's a guy who signed out of college, stayed in college and finished and wasn't drafted. They signed him, and he's a little maturity. Here's a liner to right, settles in for a hit for Gary Bennett. Bennett 2 for 2 tonight. Julio Pimentel, who was a pitcher there at Wilmington, came over in the deal with the Dodgers for Odalis Perez.
And he was a name that we heard quite a bit about late last season and on into spring training this year. Royals would like to move him along up into the mid-minor leagues throughout the course of 2007.
Tyler Chambliss, a draft pick last year in the 11th round. He's at the low A team at Burlington. Well, it's fun to keep track of those kids.
Well, those kids are a big part of the future. You talk
bet.
about things going on here in Kansas City. Royals need to be solid at AAA Omaha. They call up middle infielder from Omaha this afternoon, Fernando Cortez. So the guys playing at AA with Wichita got to get it done. Move on up to AAA if they can. Yeah,
a ball and a strike here. And a Swing and a miss. You know, you call up the guy from AAA, you think, well, that's great news for him, and it is. But then there's a little chain reaction down the line. Here's the resume of Cortez, who was having a good year, 299 average, and look where he's played: first, second, third, a couple of outfield spots.
Now, when a guy comes out of the minor leagues and he started at that many different positions, that's what he'll do when he gets to the big leagues. You don't start at that many positions in the minor leagues and then come up and say, I'm going to be the everyday second baseman, or I'm going to be the everyday shortstop. If a guy's a utility player in the minor leagues, he's gotten his way through the system doing that. That's probably the way he's going to be used here at the big league level. John Wathan would have been one of those guys. AA, AAA, he bounced around. He would catch. He'd play some at first base. He'd play some in the outfield. And that's exactly what he was in the big leagues. A backup catcher, but a versatile backup catcher who can play a number of positions.
Well, 2 outs, but 2 on now for Eckstein, who's already 2 for 2 in the game, and he bats for the 3rd consecutive inning. It's already 6-0 St. Louis, as Odalis Perez now is nearing 60 pitches for the ball game. And Brandon Duckworth is going to start throwing. Back-to-back hits by Bennett and Miles after the first 2 men had bounced out to short. And this should end the inning. Perez throws out Eckstein, and the Cardinals strand a couple. They've now left 4, but in the middle of the 3rd, they still lead the Royals by half a dozen. Bat in the 3rd, trailing 6-0 as we check out our league leaders. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward. Royals would like to get moving forward in this ball game. Most runs in interleague play. Only the Tigers with more. Those are all American League teams, you'll note. The Royals have had 2 high-scoring ball games, really 3 last night. 2 of the games against Philadelphia. Well, of course, the extra inning game out in Denver was a high-scoring affair as well.
Royals pitchers swung the bat pretty well out in Colorado. It'll be
Yes,
interesting to see what happens next week when the club goes to St. Louis, then on to Milwaukee.
The Royals hit 2 balls very hard in the 2nd, but didn't have anything to show for it. Deep drives by Gordon and Shealy that were caught. Now it'll be Pena, Gathright, and DeJesus here in the 3rd inning against Adam Wainwright, who has a 6-0 lead with which to work for St. Louis. Tony Pena, nothing for 4 in last night's game. About the .324 average for Tony here at Kauffman Stadium.
Bob, you look up and down that Royals lineup and you say, are there any real surprises offensively? Is somebody doing a whole lot more than what you might have projected for him all season long? And all the way up and down the line, you say, well, there isn't anybody there. Everybody's doing about what you might have expected, maybe not quite as well as you expected. That's until you get to Tony Pena Jr.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a kid, the last year hit .226 in 40 games with the Atlanta Braves. He comes on, had the great first week, the homestand. He had those 3 triples. Didn't look like he was going to hit much when he was in spring training, but he comes in with a .266 batting average. That's got to be a huge surprise for the Royals.
And he bounces one to Eckstein. Out at first. Royals still looking for their first hit here in the 3rd. Royals won last night 8-1, but down early tonight 6-0. Wrap-up game of the series here tomorrow night. Then the Marlins, the Florida Marlins, in over the weekend. Joey Gathright, the number 9 hitter, comes up.
Marlins have been here a few times in interleague play. We haven't gone to Miami yet.
Go figure.
I'm guessing you're okay with that.
Right.
How good can that be in late June and July?
Could have some rain delays. Royals have been everywhere in the National League since this started, including Montreal. Now they have not been to Washington since the Expos moved, and as you say, have not been to South Florida. Been everywhere else.
Washington's on the schedule next year. There'd be a new ballpark there in Washington.
In fact, the Royals have played in 2 different ballparks in interleague play. They played in both parks in Cincinnati and both parks in Pittsburgh and St. Louis, of course. Here's catcher Bennett getting the worst part of this. 0-2 count.
That's the way Yadier Molina got hurt as well. Got hit on the wrist with a foul ball. So Bennett already their backup catcher. They can't afford any more injuries at that position.
0-2. And way high. 2-2 here to Gathright. The Royals completing their first trip through the batting order here with Joey. They've had one base runner, a walk. Facing Adam Wainwright. 2-2 now. Cardinals, meanwhile, 6 runs on 9 hits. Gathright deposited that ball on the left field side. Check out the guys, the white shirt. Yeah, look at this.
Brought his glove.
Whoa, careful there on that railing. And Joey. Ball hit the mound, but a good pickup by Eckstein, and he throws him out. The Royals, nothing doing the first time through the batting order. Now they'll start the second time. Hope you'll be here Friday night. In just a couple of nights, Dodge Buck Night. Royals start the 3-game series with the Marlins. Hot dogs, Pepsis, peanuts, just $1 each all night long. And fireworks after the game presented by IV and Pepsi. Big double play here Friday. Buck Night, fireworks. The Florida Marlins in. Here's DeJesus, who struck out in the first inning. Through 2 2/3, this might be about as well as Wainwright has pitched.
Looks like he's wanting to get it all back in one night. Comes in with a high earned run average, a losing record, high batting average against. Looks like he's intent on putting some zeros up on the board here this evening.
A little encouraging in the last inning when the Royals hit the 2 long blasts that were caught. But 2 ground balls to short here this inning.
Got to be a huge relief for Tony La Russa. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, getting this kind of starting performance. Starting pitching has been a problem for St. Louis. They've pretty much wiped out their entire starting rotation from a year ago. Now that Chris Carpenter's on the disabled list, Mulder's been DL'd with shoulder surgery. They've got an all-new starting rotation right now from when the Royals saw him last year in interleague play.
Duncan, who started his big league playing career here in Kansas City with the A's back in '67.
And a catcher.
Yep. And a punch out, and the inning is over. Jesus not so sure about that development. Royals 1-2-3 in the third, and they're still down 6-0 as we head to the fourth.
This game, you say, boy, it's just like last night, except it's completely different.
Yes.
Wrong side of the scoreboard. If you're going to come back in a ball game like this, it's probably not going to be a big inning. It's something you got to do through the course of 6 or 7 innings, and the Royals off to a really slow start offensively.
Well, how about our Aflac Duck?
Aflac!
Aflac, ask about it at work. Our trivia question: who are the 5 from both coaching staffs to have had sons play in the major leagues? Does that include the managers now, the coaching staffs? I would guess it would. Of course, Dave Duncan's son is on the Cardinal team. My buddy Bell's son David played many years in the major leagues.
Freddie Kendall's son is playing with the Oakland A's.
Yeah. That's 3 right away. Hal McRae, his son, played in the major leagues. Our buddy Brian.
Former first-round draft choice.
Max here tonight. Here's a ground ball foul. So Taguchi, that guy that drew that walk in the second inning that got Pujols to the plate. And he delivered. A 2-run hit, and the Cardinals now lead 6-0.
And tomorrow in the box score, that walk might be overlooked, but it's one of the biggest plays in this game early on.
Absolutely huge. He was 3-1 when he walked him. And he was behind in the count.
So many times in baseball and in all sports, it's the glue guy, the guy that's many times overlooked, that comes up with a key play, clutch shot or pass in a team sport like basketball, and then it's the headliner, the all-star, that makes all the acclaim.
Sheely with a good play, but O'Dowd isn't going to get there in time to take the throw. Safely on with an infield hit, as it turned out, is So Taguchi.
Big breakdown right here by Perez. Your responsibility as a pitcher. Any ball hit to your left, start going that way, even if it looks like it's going to go through. But there's the late break for Perez. He falls off to the third base side a little bit, but I think he thought that ball was going to go through the infield. But look how far Shealy is off of first base. He's already taken away on the hole on the right side of the infield. Perez not going to come anywhere close to winning that race with Taguchi.
And that sets the table again for Pujols. You can't work around him when there are runners on, or at least it's considerably more difficult. Pujols tonight already 2 for 2.
Pitcher should always win that race to first base, even against a sprinter. But you got to be able to get the good jump, and he lost that with the slow break there. Shealy gave him a good throw as well, from a difficult throw.
That's a really good play by Shealy. But they don't get an out. Now Pujols takes outside. Pujols drove in a run in the first through a pulled in infield with a man at third, and then the bases loaded hit drove in a pair in the second. Albert was already hitting very well against Dallas Perez coming in. Now he's hitting an even higher average, 647. Wow. Now he's hitting 684. 684. That's
I don't think he can hold that.
No, well. Well, now he's 3-0. You don't think he has the green light, do you?
I think you'd be crazy not to give him the green light.
I didn't see him stare down at the third base coach.
Never even glanced.
No. Look out here if this is to his liking. Wow, he took it. Not what he was looking for. So it's 3-1. St. Louis with a run in the first, but 5 big runs in the second. Nobody out with the good runner Taguchi at first base. And a walk.
Well, Dallas, while he hasn't pitched all that many innings this year on an average per start, he has been good as far as going 5 innings. In fact, he's only had 1 start so far this year that he's gone less than 5 innings. Duckworth's ready in the bullpen. Buddy Bell's on his way to the mound. So this will be the second time this year that Dallas Perez has not gone 5 innings or more.
So a hit, an infield hit, and a walk, and that's going to do it for Perez here in the fourth. 6-0 St. Louis. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Pizza Hut. One more taste, get it from America's favorite pizza. Brandon Duckworth comes in to face the Cardinals.
Second shortest out into the year for Dallas Perez. He goes 3 innings plus 2 hitters, has a dozen base runners on against him during that stretch. He leaves trailing 6-0, responsible for 2 men on base. Brandon Duckworth comes out of the Royals bullpen, 1 save so far this year. Opened the season in the starting rotation as the number 5 starter. He made the club out of spring training as a non-roster player. For his numbers, gives up a hit for every innings pitched. More walks than strikeouts, but that's a little bit deceiving. He's been a lot sharper this year since elbow surgery in the offseason than he was last year. Need a pin?
Pretty loaded cap there. Well, look out here. Here's Encarnacion, who takes a sweeping curveball for a strike. Encarnacion, a deep drive to left that was caught. A single in the second. He now sports a 13-game hitting streak.
John Buck just got crossed up on that first pitch from Duckworth. I think John was looking fastball. Watch him react on this. It is a curveball, but see him following it around right there. That was anything but what he was expecting. Apparently not on the same page as far as the signals with a runner on at second.
And now it's 0-2. And Duckworth has a problem. After throwing the ball, he grimaced, now grabbing the knees, bending over. Well, that's not what the Royals need here.
Well, Duckworth, an important guy, but it's because it's his responsibility. What the Royals will ask him to do is eat up some innings here. You get 3 innings out of your starter, your bullpen is in jeopardy right now because the Cardinals can get in there and kick around pretty good. So Duckworth really wants to come out and pitch some innings rather than going in there and getting another guy. Looks like that could be a possible lower back or maybe a hip problem for Duckworth. Frank Kite, the Royals assistant athletic trainer, out there having a visit. It looks like Duckworth's going to leave. Let's check out this pitch as he delivers it. The landing is okay. It looks like the leg is okay, but on the follow through, he's got this flinch as Encarnacion fouls it back. Yeah, I would think that's lower back or hip.
So Brandon does not even complete work with one batter. And that's a double whammy. Even last night, though, when the Cardinals were trailing big, their starter still got into the 5th inning. Looks like Greinke. No, it's going to be Peralta. Greinke was up, but Peralta will come jogging in from the bullpen. So the Cardinals got their starter to the 5th last night before he had to come out of the game, but the Royals, no such luck tonight, and now they lose a reliever due to an injury who's not yet faced one batter. Threw just a couple of pitches to Encarnacion.
Well, the Cardinals are going to get deep into this bullpen tonight because everybody else out there would be a 2-inning guy, you would figure, at most. Peralta would be the next long guy that you'd look at, but you look at his appearances so far this year, you get an inning, a third, inning and 2/3, maybe 2 innings out of him. That's about as much as you could expect. Still a lot of innings to be played here tonight. So Cardinals in great position, not only set them up for the rest of tonight's ball game, but also tomorrow night.
Oh, absolutely. And Cardinals over there in their dugout taking it in. So pitching change. Peralta gets all the time he needs to warm up. We'll be right back to the ballpark. 6-0 St. Louis. They've got it going again here in the 4th. Hope you can join us for Military Appreciation Night this Saturday. The Royals and Marlins. First 20,000 get this special edition Stars and Stripes cap from the Royals. At the ballpark early, some military displays and some special pregame ceremonies. Military Appreciation Night this Saturday, 6:10 ball game, the Royals and the Florida Marlins. Joel Peralta getting to warm up. So as many as he needs here to get ready since he replaced Duckworth, who came out with an injury.
Peralta's going to pitch for the 2nd time on this homestand, Bob. His last time out was the Saturday night game against the Philadelphia Phillies. He threw 2 innings in that game. Peralta's line, this would be appearance number 29 on the season. 253 batting average against, 1-2 record. So the 28 games that he's pitched, Peralta has pitched a total of almost 40 innings. That gives you an idea how he has been used. 2 innings here on Saturday night. The longest outing he's had this year was in late May. He went 3 innings in that one. That was against the Seattle Mariners.
St. Louis with runners at first and second, an infield hit and a walk. And now an 0-2 count on Encarnacion, which Peralta will inherit. And he missed by a rather wide margin with ball 1. I would think that would be really tough to come in and do all your warm-up pitching from the mound after an injury to another hurler. To center field. DeJesus started in, now going back, makes the catch. Taguchi tags and goes to 3rd. The other man, Pujols, stays at 1st.
There was a time when all the starting pitchers took their warm-up pitches in front of the dugout.
Yeah.
Right on the field. They didn't go down to the bullpens that were in the far corners. In fact, that was part of the show at that time. Get to the ballpark early, watch infield practice, and then watch the starting pitchers warm up.
Give the opposing pitcher the Dickens. Now Roland will bat. He is 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. St. Louis a chance to add to a 6-0 lead. Ball 1 here to Roland with a Curveball.
Roland got tested defensively here last night. Hasn't made any errors to this point in the season. Had a couple of iffy calls here last night. He's got base hits on both balls.
Cardinals with 1 in the first, 5 in the second. Rolled foul. So strike 1 to Scott Rowland. Battled some injuries the last couple of years. They have him signed up through 2010. He's now 33 years old. Been with the Cardinals since he came over from the Phillies in that deal back in '02.
He was thrilled to get with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's what they would say an area product. He's from Southern Indiana. They also have Mark Mulder, who's currently on the disabled list. He's from Southern Illinois, so he returns to his part of the country. Both of them thrilled to be in a Cardinal uniform. Mulder now with shoulder surgery. As you mentioned, Roland's been battling injuries the last 2 years.
That's popped up behind home plate, but John Buck, no chance to get to it.
Roland battled the shoulder injuries late last year, and Tony La Russa held him out of some ball games, even in the postseason. Roland not happy with the way he was used the last couple of weeks of the season. Had a little bit of a falling out. Supposedly they've gotten things worked out. Roland had a great postseason. He hit a little better at .350. The Cardinals had a great postseason.
Yeah, when you're the last team standing, that works out pretty well. 2-2 here. Kind of fisted down the line in left, and Gordon can't quite get there. He's back to the infield and skidding along the warning track there. That'll give Roland another chance.
Tough opportunity for Gordon. You see him look away to see if his shortstop Pena was anywhere in the area, as to whether he had a better angle and a chance to make that grab. Sliding along the track and banging into the wall is the Royals third baseman Alex Gordon.
2-2 here to Scott Rowland with runners at the corners and 1 out. Popped up again behind home plate, again out of play.
You talk about Roland coming back from those injuries. He was a candidate for the Comeback Player of the Year award last year in the National League. Was edged out by Nomar Garcia Parra. Also had a terrific year last year.
Yes, he did. In the American League was Frank Thomas, who had the big bounce back season. And he bounced to Toronto. Again, a 2-2 pitch. Ooh, a little bit high. Ball 3.
Hanging breaking ball right there. There was a time the hitters would come out of their shoes swinging at this. Roland lets it go. It's a little high and out of the strike zone.
9 pitches for Peralta. Remember, he inherited first batter, Encarnacion. That's lifted out of play. Cardinals go to Oakland to play the A's. The A's are on the road right now in Houston for interleague play.
Another Royals fan making a nice play right here. Fans having a better night than the hometown team. Made a one-handed grab just like the guy did leaning across the road. And this guy did it without a glove.
Wow. That's quite a play. Again, a 3-2 pitch here to Rowland. They bring the infield in now. That's bounced foul outside third. Royals had been in double play position. Now they brought the infield into the edge of the grass.
Sometimes managers, even a blowout game like this, not that the Royals can't come back, but they'll want to go ahead and play it like they would in a close game, just so those infielders get accustomed to playing it in certain situations. We saw Tony La Russa do some of the same things here last night, adjusted his defense as though he was in a one-run game.
This ball smoked to left field. Gathright on the run. dives. He's got it. Runner will tag at third and score, but a tremendous catch out there by Joey Gathright to rob Roland of a base hit. He will get an RBI on the sac fly.
Well, Gathright got a good jump on this ball, Bob, and he made a little bit of an adjustment. He didn't have the best route in the world. He had to kind of cut back in, cut it off a little shorter. There he is back, kind of circles around, now gains speed as he sees that it's going to drop just in fair territory, and he's fully extended, rolling into foul ground. Turns into a good running, sliding, tumbling catch for Gathright. Second out of the inning, but it'll get the Redbirds another run.
7-0 St. Louis. Royals still without a hit. Had a no-hitter last night. Justin Verlander, the second-year pitcher with the Tigers. I understand he was clocked at 102 in the ninth inning. In that ball game. 2 no-hitters this year, both by pitchers in the AL Central, Burley and Verlander. One and one here to Spezio. It was 1 for 2, a double.
Verlander beat the Cardinals late in May. That was a game played in Detroit.
A little World Series rematch.
Verlander beat him 6-3.
Two runs, or rather 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 out here in the inning. Another run home for St. Louis. They've made it a 7-0 ball game. And an easy play here for Shealy to the bag, and that's that. That half inning took 22 minutes due to the injury and 2 pitching changes and a run by the Cardinals, who now lead by a touchdown. 7-0 St. Louis. Royals still look for their first hit. We go to the bottom of the 4th. The Aflac Duck is back. Aflac, ask about it at work. Remember our trivia question. These 2 coaching staffs. Name 5 coaches from the 2 teams who have sons who have played in the major leagues. Well, we came up with Buddy Bell and Fred Kendall of the Royals. Hal McRae, Dave Duncan for sure with the Cardinals. I know Dave McKay, LaRussa's first base coach, has his son who is a player. I'm not sure he's been in the major leagues, but apparently he has. He's been in the Cardinal organization. So there's your list. Buddy Bell with both his boys, David and Mike. Well, let's see if the Royals can get something going here against Wainwright, who had to wait out that long inning. It'll be Herman, Tian, and Sweeney. Defensive change for the St. Louis Cardinals. They made a change at a middle infield spot. That ball rolled foul. Adam Kennedy's come into the game, and he's taken over at second base, and Aaron Miles has gone to short. Eckstein has come out of the game with some stiffness in the lower back.
Kennedy got the start here last night at second base for the Cardinals, went 1 for 4.
And that ball lifted into right field, but Encarnacion goes over casually and makes the catch. Well, it's hats off weekend. The Royals take on the White Sox. It all starts Friday, June 29th. First 20,000, 21 or over, get a free Royals visor from Budweiser. Then Saturday, June 30th, the first 20,000, get a Royals cowboy hat from AT&T. And Sunday, July 1st, one of the great ones, free Monarch caps, the first 20,000 from Pepsi on the Royals annual salute to the Negro Leagues. 3 hats, one big weekend, all starting Friday, June 29th. So get your tickets for that. No pop fly, shallow center, Taguchi in to grab it. Now the Royals hitless through 3 2/3 as Tian is retired.
Wainwright has retired 9 straight. You talk about being on easy street.
Two gone. Sweeney will bat. Mike article popped up in the first. Boy, things have gone completely 180 degrees here since last night. The Royals enjoyed the big early lead, and their starting pitcher was rolling along, Brian Bannister. Tonight it's the Cardinals up by 7, and Wainwright pitching beautifully, and the Royals have, due to an ineffective start and then an injury to Brandon Duckworth, the Royals have their third pitcher in the game. One here to Sweeney. Wrap-up game of the series tomorrow night. Kip Wells against Scott Ellerton. A couple of right-handers. Interesting defensive alignment. The Cardinals, they play Sweeney to pull on the infield. They play him to hit to the opposite field in the outfield. See the center fielder Taguchi where he is, and look at the infielders.
Well, very few teams play Michael as a pull hitter like that in the infield. The Cardinals charts must show that he hits the breaking ball, kind of rolls across the top of it and pulls it. Balls that he hits in the air, he goes to right center field. A lot of guys are defended like this, but Sweeney's not one of them. Like some teams kind of bunch their outfielders and infielders, get their first and third baseman way off the line, play their middle infielders up the middle a little bit, and put their left fielder in left center field, right fielder in right center field, and they call that bunching your defense. Try to take away the gaps.
2-2 now the count. And a bouncing ball from Miles, who's now at shortstop. Sweeney falls down about 2/3 of the way up the line. He is out, and he gets up and he's hobbling. The inning is over. Royals brushed aside in 1-2-3 fashion. Still no hits. They trail by 7. Baseball brought to you tonight by James B. Nutter, making the American dream come true since 1951. By Missouri Tourism for great Missouri vacation ideas. See them online at visitmo.com. By Wigwam Golf Resort and Spa in Phoenix, the official spring training resort of the Royals. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. If it's built Ford tough, you'll find it at your Midwest Ford dealer. On to the 5th inning. Cardinals pretty much in charge right now. Joel Peralta on for the Royals, who trail 7-0. And with the play-by-play, here's Paul.
Peralta will see the lower third of the Redbirds lineup as we move on to the top of the 5th inning. That means Ryan Ludwig leading things off. Ludwig, huge home run here last night, but 0 for 2 here tonight. A couple infield ground balls. It'll be Ludwig. Bennett and Miles. 7, 8, 9 due up for St. Louis. St. Louis finishing up their 3rd time through their batting order tonight against Royals pitching. A win tonight for St. Louis. There'll be a game over 500 for the month of June. Not been over 500 in any of the months so far this year. They were 10-14 in April. They were 3 games under 500 in May. They're still not all that far out in that National League Central Division. Officially, they're in 3rd place, but just percentage points behind the 2nd place Chicago Cubs. Milwaukee's slowing down a little bit. They've lost 6 out of their last 10, so they're still just 4 games over 500. Houston certainly some shortcomings as the Pirates, but I would say any one of those top 3 teams could still win it. Short right center field. It's Herman out to grab the pop-up. Ludwig the first out of the inning.
Great to be with you as always on RSTN. All the games, of course, on the Royals radio network. If you'd like to advertise over on the radio side, call Tony or Bob. Tony Reisinger, Bob Stigler, 504-4492.
Tony Reisinger here in the stadium tonight. Here's Gary Bennett.
But Bob's here too. You know, he doesn't miss games.
He doesn't miss many games.
No.
Bennett's having a good night. He was 0 for 6 coming into tonight's play. But 2 for 2 this evening. Both of them singles. He scored a run. Bennett, a lifelong backup. Could be every day there now for the Cardinals until Molina comes off the disabled list. Cardinals have lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games. They're starting out on a 6-game road trip, 3 here in KC. They'll finish up with 3 games against the Oakland A's. And the A's have been hot. Peralta out of the stretch delivers the 1-1. This is a 9-game homestand for the Royals. Played well over the weekend against the Phillies. 2 high-scoring games. The Royals were in double figures in hits. Then John Lieber towed the rubber on Saturday night, shut the Royals out on just 3 hits. So the offense up and down in that 3-game series. Had a big night here last night with 13 hits in the game. There's a ground ball through the right side. Bennett has his 3rd hit of the night. Well, the Royals in the middle of this homestand, but more road games coming up this month. Let's take a look at the road schedule, brought to us by Missouri Tourism. For great Missouri vacation ideas, see us online at visitmo.com. Next trip will start out Monday in St. Louis, a 3-game series against the Cardinals. Then it's on to Milwaukee the following weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. The Royals will finish up the 9-game trip on the West Coast against the Los Angeles Angels. Now here's Aaron Miles, the switch-hitting utility infielder, in left-handed against Peralta. Makes high ball 1. Miles opened the game at second base. He's now their shortstop. He's had a good night. Singled his last time up. His sacrifice fly went to right field back in the 2nd inning. Picked up his 11th RBI of the season. Miles was the second baseman on an every-game basis for St. Louis the first half of last year. They didn't get a whole lot of run production out of him. Solid defense. Then they went out and traded for Ronnie Belliard from the Cleveland Indians for the second half. Belliard was a great acquisition. Played with him in the postseason. Then he moved on, and they brought Adam Kennedy in for this year. Signed him as a free agent. It's 1-2.
Nice split finger pitch there by Peralta to get ahead in the count, 1-2. Cardinals have had a little turnover at second base in recent years. A couple of years ago, Grudzielanek was their guy, and he had a good year in St. Louis.
Had a Gold Glove type year. Didn't win the Gold Glove until last year with the Royals. Cardinals really wanted to keep him, but they had to kind of slice some salary someplace. They had to keep some of their frontline guys, and second base have been a kind of a position that they'll make do with what they can afford. So they've had to kind of change their infield look a little bit. Second base is a position that's taken a little bit of a hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Miles. Miles, like Bennett, the previous hitter, was on a hitless streak coming into play here tonight. Well, drops just in foul territory. Count holds at 2-2. Miles was 0 for his last 5 coming into play here tonight. Take a look at the Cardinal win totals over the last 3 years. Now, they've been great getting into postseason play. In 2004, they had 105 wins. 05, they had an even 100 wins. And last year, when they go on to win the World Championship, they went 83 and 78. So they've had 3 straight years with declining win totals. So maybe the slow start this year wasn't all that much of a surprise. Played well in the postseason last year. Got off to a slow start. Then went on a nice winning streak. Tigers didn't play well defensively against the Cardinals in the World Series last fall.
If you can win 3 series there in the postseason, win them by 1 game, that'll work out.
Now the 2-2. Do it over again. Cardinals really hadn't all that much luck in the postseason of late. 3 years ago, they were swept by the Boston Red Sox.
That was probably the wrong time to run into the Bo Sox, wasn't it? After the remarkable comeback against the Yankees in the ALCS.
Long battle here with Joel Peralta of the Royals, Aaron Miles of the Cardinals. Shade the opposite way from Miles. Split finger pitch, apparently a little bit high. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Peralta wanted that last call. There's the split finger grip. I think I'd want that call too. Maybe a little bit high.
You'd still want it.
Absolutely. Bennett, the runner at first, very short lead. Pujols running on the pitch. Again, the foul ball. So Miles can't put it in play, and Peralta can't get him out. Buck saw the runner going from first base, and if this pitch came on through, he was ready to come firing out. Caught that spike on his left foot. Almost took a header. Royals have been involved in high-scoring games, 4 out of their last 5 outings. There's a bouncer to first. Shealy trying to get it on the short hop. He'll make the play unassisted. That's 2 outs in the inning. And Bennett moves into second.
Peralta now has come on here in an emergency situation. He's thrown 35 pitches. It's the second out of the inning here as Shealy takes care of it. But now the Cardinals get another man in scoring position with 2 out.
He's used a lot of pitches in the 6 batters that he's faced.
Yeah.
He's gotten 5 of them. With all the foul balls and a couple 3-ball counts. As you mentioned, there he is at 35 pitches. Now here's Adam Kennedy. Takes over in the leadoff spot for Eckstein. Eckstein had already gone 2 for 3. Scored a run. Had a single and a double. Kennedy the last few years with the Anaheim Angels. Signed as a free agent in December of last year. He's a former first-round draft choice for the Cardinals back in June of '97. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kennedy. Peralta on in relief of Brandon Duckworth. Duckworth went out with an injury. Dallas Perez opened the ball game for the Royals. Went 3+ innings. Gave up 10 hits. Saddled with all 7 runs given up so far. In the air to right field is pretty well hit. Has Tian on the run, but Mark able to run it down with the slide. The ball came back to him a little bit. That's the final out of the inning. Took a pretty good divot out there in right field. The Cardinals get a base runner. Strand him. It's been all Redbirds so far here tonight. We're halfway through. Cardinals had that big 5-run second inning. Royals still looking to get on the board as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. In fact, the Royals still looking for their first hit of the game against Adam Wainwright. Let's take a look at Wainwright's pitch total, brought to us by James B. Nutter, making the American dream come true since 1951. Dallas Perez started for the Royals. He had 67 pitches in 3+ innings here tonight. Wainwright's still at 50 through 4 innings here this evening. And he has retired 10 straight as we move on to the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's Alex Gordon.
Royals pitching tonight. The 3 combined have thrown 98 pitches so far through 5 innings. Duckworth threw 2 and came up with an injury and had to come out of the game. He relieved Perez.
Gordon flied deep to center field. Actually a high line drive that was run down by So Taguchi on the warning track and straight up center field. Alex had the good night here last night. Went 3 for 4. Had an RBI. Had his average up to 198. He's lost a point on that batting average tonight. Average has not been to the 200 level yet this year. We were looking back at the start of the season, wondering how high his average could have gotten even into the first week. Well, Alex went 0 for 3 on opening day. Went 0 for 4 the second day of the year. He got his first major league hit his second time up in Game 3 of that Red Sox series. So he had just 1 hit in that series. Finished the Red Sox series 1 for 11. Then the Tigers came to town, so he got buried on that first homestand. Trying to fight his way back ever since. Wainwright's 2-1 pitch. Hit well on the button this time, but also the left fielder Ludwig. So a line drive to center, line drive to left. Gordon hitting in some tough luck here tonight.
And meanwhile, Wainwright, a bit of good fortune. He still hasn't given up a hit, even though Gordon has hit it hard twice. Shealy hit a liner deep to left that was caught. But other than that, mostly pop-ups and groundouts.
John Buck, one of those groundouts. He bounced to short his first time in. Jason LaRue caught here last night for the Royals. John Buck behind the dish this evening. Cardinals have an interesting problem. They've moved 3 of their relievers from a year ago, or guys that have been relievers the last few years, into their starting rotation. Brad Thompson, we saw him here last night. He was the starter and the loser. Wainwright tonight. Those 2 guys have both pitched the same amount of innings already this year that they did all last season as a relief pitcher. We're not going to see Braden Looper in this series. He's the 3rd reliever that's now a starter. And he's already pitched more innings this year than he has all of last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how those 3 guys specifically get through the workload that the Cardinals are going to put on their shoulders this season. Kip Wells gets the start here tomorrow night. 30-year-old right-hander. Split time last year with the Pirates and the Rangers. He had just 9 starts a year ago. Fastball right on through there. It's 3 balls and a strike to Buck. The Royals played the Cardinals this time last year. Their starting rotation was Chris Carpenter, the ace. Mark Mulder was the lefty. Jason Marquis, he's with the Cubs. He was a starter. Jeff Suppan in the starting rotation. He's now with the Brewers. Oh, nice pick by Roland at 3rd. Buck hit it hard, but he's the 2nd out of the inning. Roland had kind of a tough defensive night here last night. Smoothed out this smash off the bat of Buck.
And looks very much the part of a 7-time Gold Glover on that play. Well, Wainwright an out away from 5 no-hit innings.
Looking to retire his 13th straight if he can get Shealy. Shealy hit the ball hard his first time up. Takes the changeup in for a called strike 1. Shealy's line drive was to left fielder Ludwig. Only base runner the Royals have had tonight was a 2-out walk to Tien in the 1st. So Wainwright looking for his 4th straight 1-2-3 inning. Wainwright spent most of last year as the setup man for Jason Isringhausen, their closer. Isringhausen went down with a hip injury last year that required surgery. Wainwright went from setup man to closer. Closer at the end of the year, closer in the postseason. Recorded 4 saves. Line drive to right, and Encarnacion to his left, and that is another easy 1-2-3 inning for Adam Wainwright. Wainwright on his way to his 5th win of the season and would even his record at 500.
And it's a 7-0 ball game here as we go to the 6th inning. You got an injury update for us.
Royals have had a lot of injuries this year. Let's check it out. Brought to us by Menorah Medical Center, your HCA Midwest Hospital. Luke Hudson opened the season on the disabled list, made 1 start for the Royals. Went to work his bullpen 2 days later, had bicep tendonitis, elbow problem in spring training, then the bicep problem. Had a great second half for the club last year, finished 7-6. Still a game under 500 for his career. The Royals counting heavily on him at the start of the season. Still hopeful of getting him back sometime around the All-Star break.
Well, I'll say a healthy Luke Hudson could be a real plus for this ball club, but certainly the health part has not been the case this season.
Here's So Taguchi. He's had a good night. Had 3 good plate appearances. A sacrifice in the 1st. He walked and scored in the 2nd. Had an infield single, scored in the 4th.
They're stretching out Peralta a little bit tonight as he is on now for this inning, and this next pitch will be his 40th.
Longest outing of the year has been 3 innings for Peralta. Good breaking ball there, gets the outside edge. It's 1-1 to Taguchi. Taguchi slightly built but has outstanding speed. Really strong fundamentally, versatile guy. He can play any 3 of the outfield positions, so he's an ideal backup. Has been doing some platooning in left field with Chris Duncan. In the air to right field, should hang up for DeJesus. That's the 1st out of the inning. Well, if you're out of town on business during the baseball season and can't watch the Royals on RSTN, we encourage you to check out MLB.tv. That way you can watch Royals away games live on your computer. Plus you can catch those games that you missed on demand. For MLB.TV subscription information, visit Royals.com. It's where baseball is always on. Here's the big man, Albert Pujols. 2 for 2 with a walk. He's also driven in 3 runs tonight, has a 3-game hitting streak. Pujols had a 2-home run game on Sunday afternoon against the Angels. They broke a 3-game losing streak that day. He also had another game last week where he had a 2-home run game. And him out in front of the breaking ball. He's down on the count 0-2.
Albert Pujols, what an amazing story. Just 1 year in the minors, and well, then he made the team spring training, and he's been a big-time star ever since.
Well, you take a look at the MVP balloting over his 6 years in the big leagues, and it's really impressive. He's won it once. He's been second in the league 3 times. He's been third in the MVP voting once, and he's been fourth another time. So he's been fourth or higher in the MVP balloting every year. Team has it measured in right field, second out of the inning. Pujols retired for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and you could really make a case that he should have won it more than one time. What he has done and meant to their ball club. They've been to a couple of World Series during that tenure.
Well, you talk to scouts that have scouted them, and last year and again this year, they have 3 really good players in Pujols, Jim Edmonds, their center fielder, and Scott Rowland. That is the heart of their batting order. That's the nucleus of the defense. Those are the guys that really make it happen. Then they have solid players at every other position. Have some speed. They have a mix of line drive hitters and guys with occasional power. Juan Encarnacion now hitting would be an example of that. But the nucleus of their team is the heart of their batting order. Their first baseman, their center fielder, their third baseman. That's a heck of a start when you put those 3 guys in the lineup.
And those are their long tenured guys on their payroll.
And they're also the long tenured guys with contracts to be
That's what I mean.
finished. Years left on the contract. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Just with the breaking ball inside. Cardinals have had their problems in interleague play this year. Just 1-6 so far. We talk about interleague play and seeing some teams that we don't see all that often. How about the power hitting first baseman that we're going to see in interleague play? Ryan Howard unloaded a couple monstrous home runs against the Royals over the weekend. Now you've got Albert Pujols in this series. We're going to see Prince Fielder in about a week when we go to Milwaukee.
The shot for John Buck right here. Just swing a moment ago. Ouch. Right on, boy, just above the elbow it appeared. John trying to walk it off, but boy, that you know that hurts like the dickens.
Got a big old welt there already just above the elbow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yep, that'll get your attention.
I think that's a tough position, that catcher.
Well, and I think it's tougher these days than it was in the past. So many players take that top hand off the bat, and they've got that long follow through on the backside. The elbow already bruised, swollen. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. They got 3 balls, 2 strikes now.
Talking about all those first basemen. He's not a first baseman, but how about Cabrera? He's in the same class as those other young hitters, and he'll be coming in here over the weekend with the Marlins.
Marlins a game under 500 coming into play today. They've won 6 out of their last 10.
They're trailing at home to the Cleveland Indians 6-3 tonight. They're in the 7th inning at last word.
Cleveland's hopeful of breaking out of a 3-game losing streak.
Toronto's already won at San Francisco. Phillies beat the White Sox again.
Hit right on the button, off the end of the glove of Pena, the shortstop. Tried to pick it on the short hop. Encarnacion reaches with 2 outs. Probably going to go as a base hit. Cardinals have hit the ball hard here tonight. They started out hitting it hard last night against Brian Bannister. Bannister got things together pretty well and turned in 8 strong innings. Hadn't gone so well here this evening for the Royals. Cardinals have their 12th hit of the game. Here's Scott Rowland. It's called strike one.
Royals had 13 hits last night in their 8-1 victory. Royals have no runs, no hits tonight through 5.
Rowland hopeful of extending a hitting streak to 3 games and gets it done on that swing. Solid base hit to left field, cut off by Gathright. Royals just can't have an easy inning here tonight. Even in the innings where they've gotten the first couple men out, they can't finish the deal. Got the first 2 out in the 3rd, gave up a couple base hits, got a couple outs in the 5th before giving up a hit. Got 2 outs here in the 6th, and back-to-back singles by Encarnacion and Rowland.
Zach Greinke at work out in the bullpen, and McClure's gone to the mound, the pitching coach.
Well, Zach, having been a former starter, would be a guy that could go 3 innings or so. So Buddy Bell's problem tonight is who are the guys that are going to finish this thing? Who are going to be the ones that shoulder the workload? And what about tomorrow night?
And what about Brandon Duckworth and his immediate future? They're coming out with some sort of an injury here tonight. And an ineffective start for Odalis Perez. 3+ innings.
Now here's Scott Spiezio. Spiezio, the designated hitter again tonight for St. Louis, is 1 for 3. A double and a run scored back in the 2nd. And Spiezio has a 3-game hitting streak. Popular look in Kansas City is the facial hair that Spiezio features. Has it dyed red? When we go over to St. Louis next week, we'll see a lot of the young fans in attendance will bring the Spiezio look with them. His dad, Ed Spiezio, played for the Cardinals back in the 60s. No balls, 2 strikes on Scott Spiezio. Spiezio, not necessarily one of the nucleus players we were talking about, but he's signed up through next year. Versatile guy, 13 home runs, 52 RBIs a season ago. Started 61 games, but he's important because he's a switch hitter. He's a versatile guy. Got some experience. About 10 years in the big leagues. Came over as a minor league free agent for last season from Seattle. He's down in the count here, a ball and 2 strikes. Got him looking. Good breaking ball on the outside corner from Peralta. He's been solid through 3 innings. He's given up 3 base hits, but no runs so far. Adam Wainwright putting a whole lot of zeros up on the scoreboard tonight. Let's see if the Royals can change that as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant tonight is Louis Segura from Lee Summit, Missouri. He's going to win $2,000 if the Royals can hit a home run here in the bottom of the 6th. And he's going to win $25,000 from the Sonic and the Royals if they hit a grand slam out of the ballpark. So Louis Segura, our contestant tonight in the Sonic Slam inning. Louis from Lee Summit, Missouri. Royals have the 8-9-1 hitters due up against Adam Wainwright. That means Tony Pena Jr. leading things off. 0 for 1 tonight, and now 0 for his last 8 plate appearances. One of the few guys that didn't get involved in the 13-hit effort here last night by KC. And he's the first out here in the 6th inning. Made it close at first base. Wainwright making it look pretty easy.
Boy, I'll say. Tony Pena hustled hard down that line trying to beat that play, but couldn't quite do it.
Now here's Gathright. Rowland is looking for the bunt at third base. He's in on the grass. Gathright bounced to short his first time up. Rowland trying to take away that bunt. Royals still looking for their first hit of the game. The only base runner they've gotten tonight is a walk to T, and that was way back in the 1st inning. Adam Wainwright making his 13th start and appearance of this season. Backed him off the slider down and in. It's 1-1. Wainwright a year ago was a hard thrower, consistently in the mid-90s with his velocity. Throwing more sinkers and sliders here tonight. There's a comebacker to the mound, an underhand toss to first base. And Luis Segra from Lee Summit down to his final out of the Sonic Slam inning.
That's a good play by Wainwright. If that gets by him, it's a tougher play for a middle infielder, and with Gathwright's speed, he might have been able to have made it very close, maybe even beat the play.
Right now the official score is feeling the heat a little bit. If the Royals get anything at all, he has to hope that it's a clean single, that he doesn't have to make it a scoring decision. Here's DeJesus. 0 for 2 tonight with a couple strikeouts. Rips that one into the seats. Hope everybody's okay. Well, we'll be back with you here tomorrow night. The wrap-up game of this 3-game series brought to you by Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Starts Friday in theaters locally. Cardinals and the Royals. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. Royals will stay here over the weekend. They'll host the Florida Marlins. The Cardinals will move out to the West Coast to play the A's in 3 over the weekend. No balls and a strike to DeJesus. DeJesus has hit in 3 out of his last 4. He's hit well in interleague play. He's a career .339 hitter against National League pitching. It's 1-1 here.
But an 0 for 6 so far in this series, so maybe David's due. Colorado is rolling over the Red Sox tonight, 12-2 in the 9th inning at Fenway.
Been a while since the Redbirds have had a no-hitter. How about Bud Smith at San Diego? September of '01. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. In the air to left field. It's going to be a long run for Ludwig, and it's just foul. Ludwig wasn't going to be able to run that one down, but it went foul, and it's 2-2 on DeJesus. Had a close call in that corner last night. In fact, a little bit closer than that one. Royals originally had an extra base hit, but Tony La Russa came out and discussed it with the third base umpire last night, Larry Young. They changed the call. Said that that ball had hit in foul territory, caromed off the pads and up towards the bullpen gate.
Now Ryan Sheely been the batter, and he then eventually walked.
Wainwright has been in the windup all night long. Curveball just outside. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes on DeJesus.
Royals have only 1 runner tonight, a first-inning walk to Tian. Came with 2 out.
Wainwright averages less than 6 innings per start. It'll be questionable as how late he could go in this ball game. Got that fastball almost by David. Count holds at 3-2. Wainwright hadn't been in the big leagues all that long. All of last season, but he was a September call up the previous year. 61 appearances a year ago, all out of the bullpen. 1-0 in the postseason with 4 saves, 9 appearances in October. There's a shot, but right at the shortstop, knocked down by Miles, and no play at first base. Well, there's that scorer's decision, and it goes up very quickly. Del Black, our official scorer here tonight. Error on the shortstop. But David can't hit it any harder. Big roar from the Cardinal fans of approval, and boos from the Royals fans. That play should have been made.
Well, yeah, it's hit right at him, and I know it's hit hard. If they're, well, you can discuss that, I guess, all you want, but at least for now, it's ruled an error.
Now here's Herman. Esteban backs out of the way of a breaking ball. He's looking for his first hit of the night. A couple fly balls to right.
I really don't disagree with the ruling.
I don't either.
It was hit right at him. It's hit really hard, but
and it's hit in the air.
Yeah.
Wasn't like it was a short hop or anything like that. He was playing deep. 1 ball, no strikes on Herman. Esteban 3 hits here last night. He broke a long hitless stretch here last evening. He's now just 3 for his last 21, so he's been struggling with the bat. But ahead in the count here, 2-0. Louis Segura from Lee Summit is our contestant in the Sonic Slam inning. $2,000 on the line for a home run. Outfield straight up for Herman, not very deep in center. There's the solid base hit. So the Royals finally get something on the scoreboard, their first hit of the night.
Well, they've got something in the hit column. Now let's see what they can do where it says R right there. 2 outs in the inning, but an error and a hit. Now you get Tien coming up there with Sweeney on deck. Good solid hit, no ruling to worry about right here as Herman lines it through the left side.
Gary Bennett, the catcher, wisely going out and talking to Wainwright. Don't know how wrapped up he would have been in a possible no-hitter, but catcher just wants to keep an even keel on things, make sure, hey, they got a base hit, that's okay, let's get this next hitter, get out of the inning. The consecutive retired stretch for Wainwright had reached 15. Retired 15 straight before DeJesus reached on the air. Now let's see if Tien can get a key base hit and play to run. He's down in the count 0-1. Tien walked in the first. He popped up to short center field his last time up. I mentioned the 15 straight retired for Adam Wainwright because that matches the 15 straight that John Lieber retired here on Saturday night. In fact, it was the last 15 of the Royals to come to the plate as Lieber had a complete game effort. That ball game turned into a 3-hit shutout. And it's 0-2 on Tien. Royals winners of 2 straight. Cardinals losers of 4 out of their last 5. Royals with their 2-game winning streak have run their record on this homestand to 3-1. Now back to 15 games under 500. White Sox are on a little bit of a losing streak. They're 9 games out of first place. 4 games ahead of KC. So at least the Royals have the White Sox in sight in the standings. A roller foul up the first base line. The count holds at 0-2.
Tien needs to get on to extend the inning, but if he does, I notice Emil Brown has come out on deck. Remember, Sweeney stumbled and fell on the way to first base his last plate appearance, so Emil Brown has come out and apparently would hit for Sweeney.
Tien's going to need a new bat. Broke his bat handle with that last little foul ball.
Royals with Grudzalani came out of the game last night with the knee problem, and he's listed as day-to-day, as they say. And then Duckworth got hurt tonight after throwing 2 pitches in relief, and now Sweeney apparently ready to come out of the ball game.
Shealy's playing with a little bit of a foot problem. Herman, a little bit of a sore lower back. So even some of the guys that are out there, a little bit of a Nicky type injury. Foul at the plate. The count holds at 0-2. Two contrasting games each of the last 2 days. The Royals winning here last night 8-1. The Cardinals don't score till the 9th inning. Royals looking for their first run of the night here tonight in the 6th.
How about the last 4 days? The Saturday game and the Sunday game with Philadelphia. Well, the same thing here.
Both runners have big leads. The infield is well back. There's a liner to the short staff. Good grab by Miles. Royals gone in the 6th. Luis Segura from Lee Summit will get a couple tickets to a future Royals game and dinner for 2 at Sonic. You could register for possible $25,000 at a participating Greater KC or St. Joe Sonic Drive-In. Gobble taking his warm-up tosses. He will be the Royals' 4th pitcher of the night as we take a look at our game summary brought to us by Kia Motors. Kia, the power to surprise. Cardinals jumping on the Royals early here tonight. Got a run in the first, 5 more in the second. Albert Pujols has 3 RBIs in the ball game. Royals got just 3 innings out of their starting pitcher. Odalis Perez charged with a half a dozen earned runs. Brandon Duckworth was the next pitcher in there for KC. He left after just 2 pitches with an injury. Appeared to possibly be a back injury. So a tough night for KC. Gobble, the Royals' 4th pitcher of the night. We'll see the 7, 8, 9 hitters for St. Louis as we move on to the top of the 7th.
Jimmy Gobble on the mound now here in the 7th inning. And Ludwig, who's 0 for 3, hits it foul and out of play, strike 1. Tomorrow night in the 3rd game, Kip Wells against Scott Ellerton. Wells is just 2-10. Ellerton 2-2 since returning to the Royals' active roster. There's Scott. Luke Hudson to the right. A dugout shot there. Those guys have spent a lot of time together this season in their rehab and so on.
Came back in the same series.
Jimmy Gobble. Been in a lot of ball games for the Royals this year, and Jimmy out there tonight for his 34th appearance. That's tops on the ball club. Now some of them have been brief appearances, maybe brought in to pitch to 1 or 2 left-handed batters. That ball got into the Cardinal dugout, then shot back out. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Ludwig. Hitless tonight, but a long home run last night, the only run of the game for the visitors. Royals went 2-4 against St. Louis last year. 1 hopper to Pena. Going to be close at first, but out. Good strong throw to get Ludwig. Kauffman Stadium's perfect for the 4th of July. In fact, the Royals play the Mariners that Tuesday and Wednesday, the 3rd and the 4th, and a spectacular fireworks show both nights. So keep in mind, holiday fireworks, July 3rd and the 4th of July, the biggest and best shows in town here at Kauffman Stadium. The tickets, of course, start at just $8.
That's just 3 weeks away. The All-Star break is the following week.
Here's Bennett, who's 3 for 3. Bennett, who came into the game hitting .236, now batting .267. St. Louis has scored just 1 run since the 2nd inning, but they lead comfortably 7-0. Royals will have 3 more chances. They finally got their first hit of the night with 2 out in the 6th inning. Esteban Herman breaking up the no-hit bid of Adam Wainwright. And another bouncer to Pena. And Bennett will not be very close at first. It's the 2nd out of the inning. You pitched 3 one-hitters in your career, and you saw Buzz pitch a couple of no-hitters and some others. Nolan Ryan. It is hard to pitch a no-hitter. You got to have a little luck. Doesn't hurt if you have a lot of strikeouts, maybe like a Nolan Ryan, to keep the ball from being in play. But you need a little good fortune as well as a great stuff night on the mound.
Nolan Ryan, when he was pitching in the 9th inning here, the first no-hitter thrown in this ballpark, was more overpowering in the 8th and 9th inning than he was in the first couple innings. Steve Busby's no-hitters came on the road, 1 in Detroit, 1 in Milwaukee. Brett Saberhagen had a no-hitter in this ballpark. Questionable call in the late innings. He was overpowering.
How about Colburn?
Jim Colburn was not overpowering at all. Had terrific defense behind him.
Aaron Miles, the batter, switch hitter, and a strike, 0-2. Well, we'll be interested in reports on Duckworth. We really haven't heard much on his situation, and if in fact Sweeney comes out of the game, it looked like Emil Brown was going to pinch hit the last inning. There's a 0-2 pitch and a base hit for Miles, who's 2 for 3 with a sacrifice fly.
Got to wonder about the overall health of this club right now with Grudzelanic out of tonight's game. A little knee problem, the left knee, maybe a hyperextension. Who knows about Sweeney? Who knows about Duckworth? They might be meeting into the night as far as possible roster moves.
You saw Frank Kite there, the assistant athletic trainer. He'll be certainly involved in all those cases. Now the top of the order, and it's Kennedy now who's replaced Eckstein in the Cardinal lineup. Well, what we understand, Verlander was better in the 8th and 9th last night than maybe he was early, and he was pretty good that whole game at throwing his no-hitter.
We've seen Verlander on a number of occasions where he's had no-hit stuff.
Oh, 0-2 the count. It was 0-2 to Miles before he got his hit. St. Louis now 7 runs on 14 hits. They've had hits in every inning, at least one in every inning. Back to Jimmy Gobble, and over to first to get the out, retire the side. 7th inning stretch for the crowd here at Kauffman Stadium. Royals still down by 7. We'll see if Sweeney comes out. 7-0 St. Louis. They've out hit the Royals 14-1. As we check out our Midwest Ford dealers bold move play of the game, we're going to go way back to the 2nd inning. Alex Gordon leading off.
And he just hammered this ball to straightaway center field. Maybe an early indication of how things were going to work out here tonight. Good running catch by So Taguchi, their center fielder. Took it all the way to the middle of the warning track to haul that one down. So Alex Gordon's hitting some tough luck here tonight. He's also lined out to left.
Emil Brown will take over as the designated hitter. Sweeney leaving the game his last time up. Sweeney grounded out to the shortstop, appeared to stumble between home and first base, and has left the game, we're told, with tightness in his back. And that's the word on Sweeney. He too now joining Red Zelanik in that day-to-day category. And Duckworth, it's tightness in the rib cage. He'll have an MRI. It's his left rib cage, not the throwing side, but an MRI coming up tomorrow for Brandon Duckworth. And that is a foul tip strikeout to begin the bottom of the 7th.
That's a pretty nice pitch by Wainwright right there, creating a rather defensive swing from Emil Brown. Got that inside corner. Emil looking for something out over the plate, really tied up. That's been a big strikeout night for Wainwright. That's just his 3rd of the game. The first one since back in the 3rd inning.
Now Alex Gordon is the batter. And Alex, getting in some tough luck tonight, has hit that liner deep to center that you saw that was caught by Taguchi, and then a liner to left that was caught by Ludwig. Gordon 3 hits in last night's game. He was right on the cusp of 200. Now he's back to 196. A little bit high, maybe inside. 2-1. One night you can get 13 hits. The next night you go a long time without a single hit. Finally getting one in the 6th inning. And another jolt to center field. Taguchi backpedaling to make the catch. So Gordon 3 loud outs here tonight. Now 2 gone to John Buck. Guy's banged up tonight, but the old catcher hangs in the ball game. If that nasty hit on his elbow earlier, just above his elbow. But John is grounded out to short and to third tonight. There's the banged up elbow. As they say, it left a mark. 1-1 here to John Buck. Ooh. Guy left more than a mark. He played with a lot of catchers, really good catchers, good players, and those guys by nature have to be tough guys. But who pops to your mind as a guy that just stayed in there regardless of the foul tips and all that stuff?
I would think Darryl Porter would be the real bull back there, the strong guy.
He was
he'd come out and catch 150 games a year. Yeah. In the heat that we had here in Kansas City. Former football player,
really good football player
in Oklahoma, quarterback. Signed to go to Oklahoma, really kind of wanted to go to Arkansas, but he said if you grow up in Oklahoma and sign to go to Arkansas, you may not want to come home that next summer. So he said, well, I'm going to sign to play baseball anyhow. He's a first-round draft choice with the Brewers.
3-2. Imagine that, huh? Didn't want him to go to Arkansas. Talking about Arkansas, there's Tom Pagnozzi, former Cardinal player. He's now down at Arkansas. He's on hand here. That's down in the dugout suite there, apparently. He's a pretty tough guy behind the plate.
Good Cardinal for a long time.
And to the left side for Miles. Nice convenient hop. And it's a 1-2-3 inning once again for the Royals here in the 7th. Wainwright just cruising here. This ball game goes to the 8th inning. Royals will bring in a new pitcher. Looks like well, the Royals are still down 7-0. We go to the 8th. We also take you around the interleague play. Brought to you by James Elliott. Great jewelry design. Go to jameselliott.com. Phillies earlier today beat the White Sox again. Blue Jays over the Giants out in San Francisco. Well, the Orioles and Nationals are knotted up. They've gone to extra innings. Well, look what the Rockies did to the Red Sox. Big game for Helton. Brewers edge the Tigers. And the Indians look like they might be headed for a win over the Marlins. The Yankees did beat the Diamondbacks, an 8-game winning streak for the Bombers. Pirates over the Rangers. And the Angels beat the Reds. I think Vladimir Guerrero liked Great American Ballpark. There's some of the other finals that are in. Cubs beating the Mariners.
Guerrero looks big in all the ballparks, but how big's he going to look in the smaller yards?
Wow. The A's and the Twins winning. There's the National League game, Mets and Dodgers. There's Soria who comes in. Soria will be the really the 5th Royals pitcher. Duckworth only threw 2 pitches, but came out with a problem in the rib cage, and he'll get an MRI, as we told you, tomorrow. Sweeney's come out with an injury. Rudzelanic left the game here last night. Here's Taguchi. Taguchi has had a good ball game. He's made some good plays in center field. Laid down a sacrifice bunt, gave Pujols an RBI chance that he didn't miss. Drew a walk in the 2nd to load the bases. Pujols then drove in a pair. Taguchi got a hit of his own in the 4th, and then last time up, flied to center. He's a pretty good spare part on this ball club, 37-year-old outfielder.
And a lot of times that's one of the things that separates a contender from a non-contender is the depth of a team, because there will be times that that depth will be tested, whether it be infielders, outfielders, versatile guys. And the other thing that separates some of the teams that do win it is those acquisitions that are made right around the trading deadline or the second half of the season. I mentioned earlier the trade that Walt Jocketty made at the Cardinals, picking up Ronnie Belliard. That's a trading deadline from the Cleveland Indians.
And a strikeout for Soria as he gets Taguchi. Now Soria will get to face Albert Pujols, who is 2 for 3 with a walk and 3 runs batted in. He's now driven in 43 this year, and he's over 300 now, 303 for Albert.
Pujols has 6 straight years of better than a 300 batting average 100 runs scored, 30 home runs, and 100 RBIs. So he's kind of back to norm.
Yes. One and one. Pujols had a hit in last night's game. The Cardinals had just 9 hits last night, but they only scored 1 run, losing 8-1. Tonight they lead 7-0. We're in the 8th inning. And over to right center, Tien. Does he have it? He does. Second base umpire Larry Young going out there to be sure, but a nice catch by Tien to retire Albert Pujols.
Cardinals have had Tien running all over right field here this evening. A couple catches to his left, couple going back, and how about this one to the gap in right center field? Fortunately for him, he was shaded that way. Royals trying to bunch their outfielders against Pujols. He likes to drive the ball into the right center field gap. Nice sliding catch right there by Tien.
So 2 out, nobody on here in the Cardinal 8th. Unless there's a giant comeback by the Royals here in these last 2 innings, we're going to have another one of those rubber games here tomorrow night. Royals have won one of those here on Sunday against the Phillies, but they have, for the most part, struggled in those ball games.
That was the 9th time the Royals have come down to the final game of a series, hopeful of a win and a series win. Now 3 and 6 in those, as you say, the rubber game. The winner of this game wins the series. Is that how you're going to say that tomorrow?
That's good. But this game's not over. Let's play it out here. Encarnacion, yep, he's guilty of a swing there. 2-2. Guy has a 13-game hitting streak.
No, it hasn't been a red hot streak. He's got just 16 hits during that stretch, so just a few multiple hit games. That will keep your average solid, but you don't elevate it a whole lot when you get just a hit a day. Of course, hitters will tell you they get a hit a day, you've had a terrific year.
And a weak swing there and a strikeout. So Soria, 2 strikeouts and a great catch in right by Tien to get Albert Pujols. Still 7-0 Cards. 7-0 St. Louis. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Royals with just 1 hit. Back here tomorrow night for our next RSTN telecast. Wrap-up game of this series. That's the next telecast. Brought to you by Fantastic Four. Rise of the Silver Surfer, starting Friday at a theater near you. Ryan Sheely, Tony Pena, Joey Gathright, the lower third here against Wainwright, who has pitched a gem, a 1-hit shutout. He only hit a 2-out, 6th inning single by Esteban Herman.
Wainwright has had 5 1-2-3 innings here tonight.
Well, maybe the Royals can bounce back like they did after the John Lieberboy game. Get it going again tomorrow. Wainwright's been fantastic. Here's a pop-up on the infield. The left side for Miles. 1 out. A lot of Olfers in that Royals lineup tonight. If you'd like to advertise with us on RSTN, we hope you might. Give David a call. David Lazo, 504-40-44. Call him here tomorrow morning. Tony Pena, nothing for 2. Boy, here you are in the 8th inning, and now these guys are coming up for only the 3rd time.
Royals didn't have many hitting streaks coming into the game tonight, but it looks like 3 of them will come to an end. Sweeney, Gordon, and Buck all had hitting streaks when this game started.
Yeah, and in fact, Sweeney has left the lineup, so you know he's done tonight. Pena 0 for 6 here in this Cardinal series. And headed up the middle, but a nice bounce there for Miles, who throws out Pena.
And it seems when you get into a night like this, Bob, that all those defenders seem a little bit quicker. We've seen Taguchi on a couple nice catches. We've seen middle infielders make nice plays, especially from the shortstop position. And Adam Wainwright on quite a roll right now. Retired 15 straight before that base hit by Herman. He's retired the last 6 to come to the plate since that hit.
And now 2 down, and here's Gathright. Joey takes a strike. Cardinals have a pitcher warming up out in their pen right now, lefty. Even though it's a 1-hit shutout with 2 outs here in the 8th inning.
They got a couple lefties in their pen. Tyler Johnson could be him, could be Randy Flores.
And Johnson it is. So this is by far the best performance for Wainwright. He's been absolutely spectacular. Staked to an early lead. He came into this ball game with an opponent's batting average of .318 in 12 starts.
Had gone 7 innings 3 different times this year. First time out at Houston, gave up just 1 run. Did at the end of May against Washington. Did it at Houston the 1st of June. In fact, you take a look at the times he's gone 7 innings, Bob. He's given up 1 run a couple times, 2 runs 1 other time. So when he's on, he's really on. And doesn't give up much of anything.
Yep, and this would be the high water mark of all those.
Then he's also had his games where he's given up 8 runs 1 time, 7 runs 1 time, 6 runs another time. I think we want to be out there one of those nights when he gives up 6, 7, or 8.
So he's been a little inconsistent. Here's a 2-out walk to Gathright. And DeJesus will come to bat for the 4th time. He's 0 for 3. Did reach on an error. The other 2 times he's struck out facing Wainwright. There goes Gathright. They're not holding him on, and it's a call strike. Royals were shut out by John Lieber. Will they be able to score here tonight against this guy? 1-1. Funny game. The Royals the day before the shutout loss to the Phillies won 8-4. The day after the shutout they won 17-5, and they won here last night 8-1.
The Royals been shut out 4 times all year, a couple times within the last week. You mentioned the Lieber shutout. How about CC Sabathia?
And a fly ball to right center off the bat of DeJesus. Taguchi sets up, and the inning is over. The Royals strand only their 4th runner of the ball game. On to the 9th, 7-0. 9th inning, 7-0 St. Louis. Let's check out our Roadrunner Speed Zone. Brought to you again by Time Warner Cable. High-speed online, faster surfing, faster downloads, just plain fast. Fastest pitches tonight, Gobble and Soria each reached 92 miles an hour. So go to the 9th inning. They're going to get an inning of work for Octavio Dotel. Boy, Buddy's really had to piece together this pitching deal, but the relievers have done a pretty good job, actually. The game got out of hand early, but
you got to think Joel Peralta would be burned for the next couple days. He pitched 3 innings here tonight, but the guys that normally pitch late with the ball game on the line, Jimmy Gobble, Joaquim Soria, and Octavio Dotel, 1 inning each, should be okay for tomorrow and the rest of the week. Dotel comes on for just the 8th time this year. Of course, He opens the season on the disabled list with that rib cage injury.
And Chris Duncan has come out to bat here in the 9th inning. The spot occupied in the order by Rowland. Duncan, who played in last night's game and was 0 for 4. Played left field. A third game tomorrow. Duncan down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. He has 10 home runs in 181 at bats, 45 hits, and 10 homers. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Dave Duncan's son, Chris. Chris, a big man, 6'5", 230, 26 years old. Hit 22 homers for St. Louis last year in 90 games.
Sometimes those big guys aren't all that quick with their hands or the bat, but Duncan, you mentioned the size, the 6'5". He's got a short, quick stroke, and that's tough to get accomplished when you're long and rangy like he is. And obviously he has grown up in the game and worked at it for a long time, certainly with his dad and the hitting coaches that he's been with over the years, because it is tough to be as short, as quick to the ball as he is, as big and as tall and as long rangy as he is.
And he's proficient in hitting foul balls. Dotel on for a little tune-up here in the 9th inning. The Royals down by 7. They've trailed by 7 since the 4th. They were down by 6 after the 2nd. Pujols has driven in 3 of the 7 St. Louis runs. And a little bouncer to Herman, who will throw out Duncan.
Dotel pitched in 2 of the ball games against the Phillies over the weekend. Picked up his 3rd save in the Friday night ball game. Pitched in the Sunday afternoon game. That was no save situation. The Royals were ahead 17-5 when he towed the rubber, but still trying to get him some regular innings pitched. He's not all that far removed from the disabled list. So club had the off day on Monday. Didn't pitch Tuesday. It's time for him to pitch here tonight.
And he throws a strike to the DH, Scott Spezio. Now, last night, after the 7 brilliant innings by Bannister, the Royals used Risky and Jimmy Gobble. So Dotel gets some work now tonight.
Dotel was a hard thrower in spring training. It looked like the Royals were in great shape as far as their closer's role was concerned, but just into the last couple days of spring training, he came down with that rib cage injury, and all of a sudden disarray in the pen. He was going to close things out. Risky got the first chance. They kind of bounced it around a little bit. Gobble was used in late inning situations. Finally, the Royals went to the Rule 5 pick, Joakim Soria. He had more success than anybody else. There's Soria. Good again tonight. Faced 3 batters, got 2 strikeouts.
Dotel has 3 saves. Soria has 10. So Dotel now with 1 out here in the inning, working to Spezio, the switch hitter, who is 1 for 4 tonight, a double back in that big 5-run second. In fact, that started the inning. Shealy able to corral it. 2 gone. Dotel now try to get the final out of this inning. Well, there's a rundown on the bullpen. 5 2/3, no earned runs. Duckworth threw 2 pitches, so it was really Peralta for 3 innings, and then an inning and a piece for Gobble and Soria. Now Dotel. And this is Ryan Ludwig, who's 0 for 4. Cardinals got in a situation tonight where their main man, Albert Pujols, was in the batter's box with scoring opportunities. And boy, he delivered. And Cardinals really haven't looked back. They're 3 outs away from evening this series. So each team, if finishes out this way, would post a lopsided win. Sometimes that third game could be
pitcher's
a
duel,
real close ball game.
1-0 going to the 9th. That's one thing about baseball. It is all about matchups. It's all about pitching. We talked so many times, pitching the biggest variable in any game, kind of like the quarterback's play in football. Quarterback the biggest variable. If he has a bad day, team's probably going to lose. Oh, Dallas Perez had a bad day for the Royals. They're in trouble right now, trailing 7-0. Adam Wainwright was lights out.
2 balls and a strike here to Ludwig. 2-2 now. Royals would have Herman, Tian, and Emil Brown in the 9th. They're going to need an explosion. And there's the end of the St. Louis half of the 9th inning. A strikeout for Dotel. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Still 7-0 St. Louis. Royals baseball has been brought to you tonight by Sonic. It's not just good, it's Sonic good. By HCA, proud partners of the Kansas City Royals. By Aflac, ask about it at work. And by Dodge and your local Dodge dealers. Grab life for the horns. Dodge. Well, we're in the bottom of the 9th. Royals are still down 7-0. And we will see a new pitcher. 1-hit shutout through 8 innings for Wainwright. He'll give way now to left-handed reliever Tyler Johnson. And Spezio, who was the designated hitter, will take over at third base. Remember, they hit for Roland. So the pitcher, Johnson, actually goes into the batting order should that become an issue.
I wouldn't think Tony La Russa would be all that concerned about that. Tyler Johnson comes in for the 34th time this year. A couple of decisions. He split him. He got a win and a loss.
Herman, who has the lone Royals hit in the ball game, will be up there against Tyler Johnson. And the first pitch is high, ball 1.
Tyler Johnson pitched really well at home last year for the Cardinals. Opponents hit 143 against him. Hit 100 points better than that on the season. 244 batting average. Very tough on left-handed hitters, as you might expect with that low 3/4 slinging type delivery.
He was a 34th round draft pick back in 2000. 56 games last year.
Shows you the fastball. When he got in trouble against the Royals last year, he threw a lot of sliders. Occasionally work in a straight changeup. Here goes the rally. Started right here.
Well, Herman, 2 for 4. Royals' second hit and the second for Esteban. Well, now he'll get to face a left-handed batter, Johnson. He'll see Mark Tian, who is 0 for 2 with a first inning walk. But absolutely no win factor here tonight. They're not holding Herman on. He'll go to second. It's a call strike.
Barrett going out to talk to Johnson. I'm sure they're going to talk about the signs that they're going to use with a man on in scoring position. Lefty's hitting 200 against this guy so far this year.
Tian up there. Breaking pitch for a strike. Well, you can see why he'd be tough on left-handed batters. That pitch.
Get that low 3/4 release point. Any breaking ball you throw is probably going to have a wide sweeping effect like that last one. Tough to get, as they say, the tilt, the downward movement or the trajectory. Johnson's got a pretty good arm. Throwing the low 90s consistently. It's tough for a left-hand hitter to stay with that breaking ball.
And that's a strikeout, first out of the inning. So a man at second with one gone. Royals down to their last 2 outs, trailing by 7. Emil Brown 0 for 1. He replaced Sweeney in the batting order in the 7th. Not knowing the status of Sweeney now in the immediate future, they're saying day to day on him as they work Grudzielanek. Could open a spot for Emil Brown, who's been kind of the forgotten guy of late since Gathright rejoined the ball club. He's been the left fielder. Ross Glode close to being ready at some point. And Reggie Sanders also getting closer and closer.
Reggie Sanders traveled with the club on the last road trip. Ross Glode did not, although both guys have taken part in on-field activities in this homestand. Ross Glode at the start of this series. Reggie's been with the club for a while.
2-1.
Ross Glode out with a tear of the quadriceps, something he was able to play with late in spring training early on this year. In fact, through the first 3 weeks of this season, he was leading the club in RBIs. Reggie Sanders' injury is a hamstring problem.
Johnson's behind in the count here to Emil, 3-1. Emil Brown at .217 average, 2 homers, 21 batted in. He's led the team in RBIs his 2 previous years with KC. And he draws a walk here in the 9th inning. The left-handed batter.
Russ Springer's been solid in relief for the Cardinals. Don't want to have to warm him up too much. The one pitching move that Tony La Russa made here this evening, he would like it to be his last of the night.
Alex Gordon 0 for 3, but that really doesn't tell the story. He's hit it hard every time, and outfielders had to make a catch. Ball 1 inside. After Gordon, you have right-handed hitters. Buck, Shealy, Pena. 2 on with 1 out here in the 9th. 7-0. St. Louis 2-0.
Johnson got his breaking ball over against Martin, but having a hard time getting it over here to Gordon.
Minnesota beat Atlanta 6-0. The final in. And Alex rips one into the seats, foul. Strike 1.
Going into play today, the American League was 16 games over 500 against the National Leaguers. American League East was 2 games over 500. The Central 4 games over. Western Division doing better than anybody. They're 10 games over 500 against the Nationals.
Amazing. The attendance announced here tonight, 25,555. Got right at a little over 29,000 here last night. And a drive by Gordon, right center field, and she is gone. A 3-run home run for Alex Gordon. Boy, nobody could catch that one. His 4th home run of his rookie season.
Well, last night it was Ryan Ludwig unloading a long home run for the Cardinals in the top of the 9th inning. And Alex Gordon gives us a little peek at the power that he has. Clint Hurdle was a left-handed hitter, a youngster that did this at Kauffman Stadium his rookie year. Bounced it off a signboard and into the upper tank of the water display in deep right center field.
Well, La Russa is going to make a pitching change. Russ Springer comes in from the bullpen to take over. Well, the Royals get on the scoreboard here in the 9th inning on a tremendous 3-run home run by Alex Gordon.
Tyler Johnson couldn't get the breaking ball over to Gordon, and hitters tend to sit on the fastball when you can't get the hook over for a strike. Alex Gordon not only sat on that one, he jumped all over it. It'll bounce it on top of the advertising sign on the water display, and it'll bounce into the back tank of the water display.
Well, now it's 7-3 with one out, nobody on here in the bottom of the ninth. Springer comes on to pitch, and John Buck's the batter. Springer, a veteran, 38 years old, came to the big leagues in 1992. He's been with a lot of teams.
This season's over. He's going to have about 12.5 years of accrued time at the big league level. Last year with Houston, he's kind of like fine wine. He's getting better with age. Had a career high appearances last year, 72 with the Houston Astros.
72 games for, save for the Stros last year. Pitched the Yankees, the Angels, the Phillies. A couple of, 3 times with Houston, Arizona, Atlanta, Arizona again. Back to the minors, St. Louis, Houston, now back to St. Louis.
Well traveled.
Yes, sir.
Got a lot of suitcases.
Well, guess who's warming in the Cardinal bullpen now?
That's a little bit of success right there when they have to warm up their closer. They took a 7-0 lead onto the bottom of the ninth.
Bucks down here 0-2. 7-3 St. Louis. Royals have only 3 hits. 2 of them coming here in the ninth. Herman has 2 of the 3 hits in the ball game. Missed low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes to John Buck. And a strikeout, second out of the inning. In case you were wondering, that home run by Alex Gordon is only hit of the night, but he's closer and closer now to that 200 average. He's at 199.
So he's added a point to his batting average tonight.
Boy, did he hit that ball. My goodness. So 2 out, nobody on, and here's Ryan Sheely. Strike 1 on the fastball that was up.
Springer's got that easy delivery, so whatever the radar gun's going to tell you the velocity is, it'll seem a little bit quicker to the hitter, especially if it's elevated in the strike zone like that last fastball to Sheely.
Oh, 2. Royals are literally with hanging by a thread now. 1 strike. To 1 Royals last night, 7-3 St. Louis tonight. Both kind of similar early big innings for the winners. And Sheely reached and did get the end of the bat on that one and fouled it back. Ryan Sheely in this ball game had a lot of defensive plays. He's done a good job at first base. He's lined out to left, flied to right, popped up on the infield. It's now 2-2. Great effort by Bannister last night. Tonight it's been Wainwright of St. Louis with the pitching gem. 1-hit shutout for him through 8. The Royals get on the board here in the ninth on the Gordon home run. Sheely fouls it off.
Springer doing a good job of making Royals hitters reach for his pitches. Buck saw a couple breaking balls, pitches on the outer part of the plate. Shealy sees a high fastball first offering that he got, then a slider down and away. That last one was a fastball just off the plate. And again reaching for a fastball away.
Two balls, two strikes here to Shealy. And a little broken bat flare. It's a base hit. Oh, Shealy is on with 2 out.
Pretty good job of battling by Ryan Shealy right there. Springer was pitching him tough. Working up and in, working away, down and away. Came back with a slider. Ryan just got a little bit of it. The slider got to the outside corner. He shatters his bat as the bat head goes whirly-birding out towards shortstop. And this ball dunks into short right field. But Shealy now 1 for 4 tonight. Deserves that base hit. That was a long battle against a veteran right-hander.
Well, it's good to see that. I mean, your team's down by 4 with 2 out in the 9th, but that's really a good gritty at bat. Now here's Pena. Strike 1. Hope he can be here tomorrow night at 7:10. Kip Wells for the Cardinals, Scott Ellerton for the Royals. And the Mariners over the weekend. Friday night, Saturday evening, and Sunday afternoon. I said Mariners, the Marlins. They're the exact opposite end of the country.
He just got northwest southeast mixed up.
The Florida Marlins, the Fighting Fish. Pena's down 0-2. Shealy was down 0-2 before battling back. This guy's thrown 16 pitches since coming into the game.
Been ahead of everybody. Then pitching out of the strike zone. Bennett's really got to like working with him because he gets ahead in the count. And okay, what's the scouting report say? Do they chase up and in? Do they chase down and away? Do they chase the breaking ball? Maybe a straight changeup. Having a hard time getting the last 2 hitters to chase to make outs. There you go.
And the ball game is over. And the Cardinals even the series at 1 game apiece. Beating the Royals here tonight 7-3. Alex Gordon prevented the shutout with a 3-run 9th inning homer. But the Royals and Cardinals will battle again tomorrow night to see who wins this first series between the two I-70 rivals. We'll be right back to the ballpark. Well, tonight it's St. Louis with a bounce-back win. They lose 8-1 in Game 1 of the series, but they jump to an early lead tonight despite the 3-run 9th inning homer by Alex Gordon. Cardinals win 7-3. The series tied at 1 game apiece. Hope you can be here tomorrow night at 7:10 to see who wins the series.
Well, both teams, the first 2 games, the early starts. The team that got out of the blocks the quickest is the team that was able to close the deal. 5 is kind of the magic number so far. The Cardinals get 5 runs in the second inning tonight. Royals got 5 runs in the first inning here last night.
Plenty of tickets tomorrow, 7:10 game time. We'll also have it on RSTN. It'll be Kip Wells, 2-10 for St. Louis against Scott Ellerton, a 2-2 record for the Royals. So we hope to see you here tomorrow night. The Cardinals win it here tonight by the final score of 7-3. Thanks to our RSTN crew. For Paul Splittor, Bob Davis, good night.